What is going on, people? Happy freaking Monday. Is it Monday yet? Yes, it is. Welcome back to the stream. I hope you had an awesome weekend, and I hope that your trading session is off on the right foot. I'm stoked to be back, and I'm just a little bit bummed that unfortunately I'm only going to be able to stream for about an hour today because I got to go to this doctor appointment. But we're going to make the most of it. We're going to examine the market, look it over, see what this week's opportunities might lie ahead, and maybe we catch something in a short hour. And if not, we keep it moving. But as always, real quick, knock this out, and then we'll get on it. So, disclaimer, trading any financial market requires a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. You should only trade with money you can afford to lose. Proper risk management is essential in trading all financial markets. If you do not have an understanding of proper risk management, it would be best to educate yourself further before beginning to trade. The content I provide is for general information purposes only, as well as entertainment, and should not be interpreted as advice, investment, financial, or otherwise, as I am not a financial services provider. However, if you choose to follow along with any of my trade positions, please know that you do so at your own risk. And we back. So, as you can see, I still have the old webcam just from my Mac that I was talking about it on my Instagram. It's called a cam link, and I should be able to hook up my cinema camera. And I was talking about it a little bit on Thursday on here. So that's coming today. So tomorrow we should be having a little bit better image quality as far as this little camera. And then I'm still trying to figure out what's going on because I'm going down to the shore on Wednesday. So right now I have to work today. I have to work tomorrow. And I was going to go Wednesday after the stream and do a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and potentially Saturday down the shore, get away for a couple days with the fiance and just relax. But if I get off of work Tuesday and I don't have to work because it's slow and they're making cuts, then what I would do is I would stream today, I would stream tomorrow, and then I would leave for the shore Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, potentially Saturday. So depending how I work and whatnot depends on the stream. But so far, we're doing an hour today. We're doing a full stream tomorrow. We're doing a full stream Wednesday. And there won't be a stream Thursday this week in either situation. But as always, I will keep you up to date on my Instagram and, of course, on the stream, and I will let you know how that goes. But enough of that. Let's get into the business at hand and let's talk charts. So I'll pop on some tunes real quick. Turn this down on my headset because it's so loud. And let's get this off and running. So, let's start from the top. AU, let's see what we did last week. Looks like we were bullish by the end of the week, just a little bit, kind of like a doji, if you will. But it's in a selling condition, but it's still moving up. We're at these highs right here and somewhat near these highs back here from back at the end of last year. So I would say we're at a significant level, but don't want to call anything off of the weekly. Start to move down a little bit. You can see we're kind of in like a consolidation here on the daily 4 hour. Still in a buying condition, but you can see we hit this high and pulled off. So you'd like to see it potentially try and come back up towards 69.93, maybe closer to 7,000 flat. We'll see what happens. Lots of boxes around here. Could be getting into this zone like this. Could be like this. We'll see. Just play it by ear. I haven't really traded AU a lot lately, so adjust this volume. Haven't been trading AU a lot lately, so I'm not overly looking to find anything, but if something presents, we'll go from there. This is the one I'm really been looking at. EU. EU on the weekly is clearly moving higher. It's in a selling condition, but you can see it kind of like bottomed out, and now it's just moving higher and higher and higher. On the daily, same thing. We're in a buying condition. We're moving to the upside. RSI and the trend line are kind of at each other, but you can see it's still moving up, still looking to come up to these highs here at 77, to 80, something around that area. And again, structure high from weeks back is still on the list, and we still like to see it try and touch this high, and then if not, get up to this high. That still seems to be my intention, or that's my thoughts. 4 hour, you're very much in a buying condition. Looks like you could get a really nice close here in 24 minutes, but you can also see the presence of perhaps a head and shoulders. You have the shoulder here, a head here, and potentially a shoulder here. And you see it again, even more spaced out here on the hour. You get the shoulder, the head, and this is almost like a head and shoulder here. Is this a lower high and it potentially falling off? I don't want to call a short. I don't want to call the reversal, because again, we are looking like we're moving in an uptrend, but I do want to note that and not ignore what could be forming. But for now, I think it's best to stay long and try and find momentum to the upside. You can see you have divergence here on the 15-minute. This is clearly falling as price action is rising, But right here, you could see it's just a little bit higher, but it's lower on price action. So I want to be mindful of this area that we're in right here. I want to be mindful of this, because while it is higher high, it is lower on price action. So that could be an issue. You can see you're getting a little bit of stalling here. Get into the lower time frames. You can see it's divergent here on the 1 minute. Starting to fall off. It's starting to fail to make higher highs. So maybe, I don't know. We're going to see. It is only Monday, so I don't want to get too ahead of myself. But stay with the uptrend, but there could be the presence of a head and shoulders. Supima, what's up? Good morning. You're right on EU. Yeah, it's a little indecisive right now, but the good thing about it is we're just going to let the market move first, and then we're going to get on it, and that's how we're going to make our money. EA, you know the deal with EA. We'd like to see EA come to the downside if we can. It's just kind of down, sideways, not really the greatest. It's just been really choppy, but you can see that downtrend is what we're trying to see. We'd like to try and hit this low down here. Good morning, Pockets. How are you? Nice and early for you. Glad to see you on here. Happy Monday, guys. It does look like it kind of made a nice little strong push to the upside, and we were looking at that correction that was happening last week. You can see how it's still kind of in this ascending, like it's just starting to make higher lows here. You can see market sentiment slowly starting to push up. So potentially this correction is still in play. See, had a nice candle here on the hour, kind of came down, pushed up, sideways, rejection. Now you're starting to push up again. You can see it's making higher lows, still in this uptrend. So you might have to stay with the correction. Not quite sure, but again, it's been up and down. So there's money both ways. So if it is chopping, buy it low, sell it high. I mean, if it's, you can make money in a correction. Just, see how it looks on a lower time frame. 5 minute at a reset right here with all these EMAs connected together. So we're looking for a breakout ideally. Could be a nice little push here, but we'll see. We'll see the breakout. If it breaks out, it'll correct and retest a significant level, and then we'll take the correction. So no rush into it. Let's let the market move first, but it does look like you're getting some momentum to the upside, so buy might be a move for this today. GJ on the weekly. It's over on a selling condition. You can see that the RSI, or price action, is underneath this liquid 50. Everything's kind of bunched together, so we're going to get a reaction. So I'd like to see a really nice move this week on the daily. Looks like it's trying to be in a buying condition, but it's still a little bit indecisive. 4 hour, it is in a buying condition, but you can see you're under this liquid 50 and you're hitting this trend line. So you're going to get a hold and a push to the upside, which would confirm the market sentiment of being in a buying condition. Or, we're going to like break through to the downside. So we're at a reaction point right now. I'd want to stay to the upside. It's holding EMAs. It's above the 50 on the 4-hour. It's in a buying condition on the TDI. I'd like to stay long with that if I could. You can see you kind of came down here and you're getting wicks rejection in this area and potentially support to the upside. To me, that looks good. You're getting a double bottom. It's divergent. You can see how this low here is higher than this low, but on the RSI it tells you that this low is higher, so there's a divergence. They're diverging ideas, so potentially you could see momentum to the upside. This could be the pullback from Friday, comes up, comes down, makes a higher low potentially, then comes up to test this high. Okay, not too bad. On the 1 minute here, you can see divergent as well, and you're getting I guess a little bit of divergence. You can see it from back here. This price action came lower, but just this real quick, this divergence, and now you're starting to make up trending structures. You can see you're making higher highs, higher lows. It's starting to pull into a buying condition, so maybe that's like an early insight that you're starting to move higher. Again, this is the 1 minute, so don't get crazy. You're in a reset here on the 1 minute, but you can see, or on the 5 minute, you can see right here how you're testing these highs. It looks really strong, like you're starting to push out, starting to move into a buying condition. So maybe we're starting to break into this uptrend that we're looking for. You could catch a nice breakout. So we'll see how that plays out. Let's talk about GU. I was seeing this on GU already, but let's start from the weekly. So same thing, very much at a reset. It's at the stationary 50. It's indecision. It's could be a little bit choppy on the weekly. You had a nice push here. It kind of came down, and then you had 2 weeks of bullish momentum, but it could move to the downside as you're hitting these highs. The weekly, again, is just for a bigger look, but not everything. So you can see you're kind of coming right back. Price actions at this high. It broke up. Does it kind of go sideways and then continue momentum to touch this high on a daily? We're kind of definitely in this consolidation. As I said, you can see here he made a lower high. It's weaker on the TDI, but you're clearly in a buying condition. You're still above the 50. You're still at this area, so you could definitely still see it move to the upside. You're getting some rejection down here. Trend line's falling, so it's not the best buying TDI in the hour at the moment, but as that trend line and the RSI come together, you're going to get some type of reaction, and you'll definitely get a lot of rejection down here. What's up, Drew? Hope you have a good trading day. Does your stream have music now? It does. If it's too loud, let me know. I can lower it. But try to put in a little bit of music just to make a vibe and make a mood. You can see right here we're in a descending channel. Clearly, I think that's kind of clear to see. Something like this, a little kind of rough drawing. Tried to break to the downside, but it was holding, wasn't ready. It's kind of shaken out. I was looking on the 1 minute and I was seeing the divergence here, but it doesn't seem to be moving to the upside just yet. It's not quite out of this selling condition, so a sell is still very much probable on this as it's been falling off. You can see you're under this 800 EMA. Is divergent on the 5 minute here. You can see how you have a low here, low, but this is all the way up here. So clear we're running divergence again. Square, maybe it looks like. Maybe something like this, like a big square, you know. I could kind of see a descending channel, but it's a little bit more square to me. So I'd want to see a breakout, and I want to get these EMAs moving into a trend. It dropped off, kind of hit these highs. This is where we made the money. Nah, sorry, this was GU, but this is the idea where we made money on GJ on Thursday, where it kind of had this ascending channel, broke down. So GU's similar, and you can see how it kind of is hitting this level of resistance, and it fell off of it. So does it move up to make a lower high and then continue its downtrend, right now I think you might be able to make money to the upside on this, on like a correction. You could see how you're starting to break out maybe a little bit on the 1 minute here. So we'll see though, it's a little indecisive. And of course we want to check out the dollar index. Not on the 1 minute though. You could see it's been falling, hit this low, came up, and it's been falling. So let me look at the weekly first. I always like to look at the weekly on a Monday. You can see we're still falling. You're under this trend line, so it's kind of, as long as you're under it, you would still say falling. So as this falls, EU you would want to see it come higher. Same with GU. This definitely looks like it's trying to fall. Still in a selling condition on the daily. 4 hour. Kind of hit this structure that we had drawn. It's a higher low at the moment. That doesn't mean it can't continue lower. Definitely still looks like it's trying to come lower. Trying to break through here. So it's in a range-ish. But I'd say the momentum is still to the downside on this. And the momentum for EU still very much to the upside. So that's why I don't want to call that head and shoulder yet. I just want to stay with it. Let the market move first. Here comes GU. Might be trying to follow suit on that 1 minute that I was saying. Really nice push. Breakout right here. This is a breakout of this consolidation. It's hitting this area right here. So let's see how it reacts. See how the 5 minutes starting to pull up. Again, we don't want to take the first break. We'd like to let it break, come back and retest, and then we'll take that second move. Because when we took that first, or at least I took that first break on GJ and I got burned. So always let it break, take the retest. For the, if it shows continuational pattern. So that's where we're at. GJ looking like it's trying to move higher. GBPs could definitely move up. There's no news today, at least for when I'm going to be on. 11:30 pound. This guy Bailey is speaking, so that definitely could ignite the pound. It is Monday too. There's just no reason to get too, jumpy into anything. So you can see this isn't a falling on the TDI, but again, it's falling because you had all this time, you had hours of just drop, like 2-3 hours of falling. So of course this TDI is going to suck down. So I don't buy too much into it. If it settles and holds in there, then okay, selling condition. But for now, I think, oh no, because overall it isn't downtrend from back here in the beginning of June, kind of comes down. So this could just be like the higher low off of this. So maybe the sell is the play, kind of came down, pulls back, and then it's going to fall lower. I'm not sure. You can see it rejecting here, strong push. So this could just be that it broke down, correcting up, so you could make money to the upside on a correction. Perhaps it finds support, or like a resistance here. Maybe something like that. Maybe it just comes back to this 50, and then we continue lower. I'm not sure. There's definitely money to the upside potentially if it breaks and retests. That's why Mondays, sometimes just let it shake out. Kind of watch. And then Tuesday London's always was my favorite time to trade, but I don't trade that anymore. That's usually where you see a lot of moves, Tuesday London. What's everybody looking at? Anybody got anything going on today? Anybody looking at anything? This DXY does look like it wants to try and move a little lower, but see how it reacts when it hits this area. Because like we said, if this is indeed going to be like this higher time frame kind of head and shoulder pattern here on EU, if it does fail to move higher, you can get some money on a sell because this thing's going to fall off pretty good. But I don't want to call that yet. I still want to stay with it. You can see how this 4 hours looking like it's a nice bullish engulfing. You got about 9 minutes left, but you are hitting this level right here. So we'll see exactly how it plays out. Don't want to call a short just yet. Still has every bit of potential to move higher. Capital, happy Monday, brother. Same to you, man. How you making out? Capital Cash. Your AUD, as we said, still potentially could be coming up on this correction. It's a pretty decent close here on the 15-minute. TDI is still kind of in a selling condition, so choppy. Definitely a little bit choppy. Yeah, Michael, you see how it's like kind of holding that area? Draw that box out on the 1 minute further to the right. That box, draw that out to the right. You can see how it's kind of keeps hitting and like retesting it. That's why I say for now, like I want to stay in an uptrend on it. I think he's got something. Let me see if I could draw it real quick. Michael kind of sent me a. He was trading EU long, and I think he had this little box drawn out right here. It's like a bottom, and you can see if you extend it, how it's kind of holding that. So it came down, it consolidated, it broke out, and now it just keeps coming back and retesting it. I think that's how he had it drawn. So, but again, don't get too crazy into the 1 minute because you can get short-sighted. Make sure that you stay on these higher time frames. So you can see the divergence clearly on the 15-minute as you move even further out. You can see that it is making higher highs and higher lows and using it as support here. Like it made a high, came back, this was a higher low than this one. So if you go back in time, you look at it like this, so you go high, higher low, pushes up, higher high, higher low. You're saying, look, okay, the trend line is falling, but it's still in a buying condition. I'd like to try and stay with this trend to the upside. So I need to see, potential to the upside. Well, this is a 4-hour chart. You would start bringing it down to like a lower time frame, perhaps like an hour. And you could see, okay, it's kind of, chopping between this zone. And then you'd be watching for it. And then like that was the push. It just, you maybe in a 15-minute, you would have saw something. You could see this was what we missed that day. Remember how I told you I missed it and it wasn't really clean to me? It was like a down 1, 2, 3, and then this candle on the 15-minute was the one we missed, and that day just ignited. It completely missed it. But you still want to, you always want to stay with the trend as much as you can. It was right here. No, it was the 8th. Where was it? It was back here. This 1, 2, 3. And you can see it fell off, but now it's still moving higher. So it's still trying to stay with this trend. So you had this head and shoulder here on Thursday, and it fell off. So now the question becomes, as this is moving up, is this a double top lower high from here, as it's failing to move higher at the moment, and it falls off? Or is it going to continue? Well, you want to say continue. You want to not go away from, it's still moving higher, Santiago, good morning. How are you? How you making out? Yeah, the 1 minute, 5 minute are really good when you already have the bias and you know where you're looking and you're trying to get that tight stop. That's how I like to use it. I like to look at like the 4 hour, the hour, 15-minute, like, okay, I really know where my bias is, I know my direction, and then I really like taking these 5-minute entries to get a nice tight stop, 10, 15 pips, and then if you're inclined to use the 4 hour, the 1 hour to swing it, then you can have a 10 or 15 pip stop and catch that 100 pip move, and you get a really massive R to R. But for me, I just like to use it to get a nice tight stop, 10, 15 pips at most. I go for 20 to 30, smash my 2R, smash my 4%, and I keep it moving. If this EU does fail to move higher and it does create and confirm this head and shoulder, then I might look to swing EU. But for now, I can't call a short. I'm staying long biased on this until price action really fails, and it just shows me that it's falling. For now, I'll stay with it, because you would look back here and say that this is a head and shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, and it fell off, and you can see how it fell off, but it didn't fall off for long because it's still in an uptrend. So you do catch a little bit of a move, and you can make some money in there to the downside, definitely. That was happening just the other week, about a month ago or so, in the middle of June. And everyone was like, EU's falling, it's falling. And I was like, it's still an overall uptrend. And then you can see it found support and started moving up. So I want to stay with that until it really shows me that, hey, it's not. And it could be doing that, but I don't know that for a fact yet. I wait for the market to move first. Let it move, let it correct, and then if the correction confirms with bearish engulfing, I take the correction. It's the easiest way to do it. The high day got me. It's still divergent, and it's Monday too, Michael. Don't get too hard on yourself. It's just Monday, and it could just shake out, and tomorrow could rise. So Mondays are always a little tricky. And that's why I told you when I saw your message earlier today. I said, just be careful of divergent. Stay long with it, but be aware that it's a little divergent. It might taper off. And that's kind of what you're getting. You can see you're kind of potentially breaking out here on the 1 minute. Kind of consolidated push. We'll see. You're starting to get it here on the 5 minute. Failing to make higher highs. Lower high, lower high. This is a lower low. See if it breaks. So again, we want to stay long bias, but as it's failing to make the highs, then maybe you're like, okay, well, if it's not going higher, then it's either going sideways or to the downside. Sure, yeah, don't go away from the buy, but if it continues to show you lower price action, then you want to stay with that. EA came back on this kind of pull back. Like we said, this was a nice breakout, kind of pull back. Now it's starting to move up a little bit. Got a minute. So in 2 minutes, a minute and 20 seconds, we'll examine the 4 hour, the 1 hour, 30 minute, 15 minute. We'll take a look and see if anything's really making any sense to us. You pinning back to this EMA, still in this descending channel. Again, if this is gonna move higher, you'll see it come up, you'll see it pull back, find a level of support, and then press a bullish engulfing, and then you could try and take it higher. But again, just be mindful that maybe it's coming down, come up, and then find resistance and drive lower. Definitely want to stay with the uptrend, but if they fail to confirm uptrend, then we'll just flip and take the shorts. See, it's still in the box here. Really choppy. I imagine if I was to make a guess that I'm not going to trade within the next 30 minutes before I have to get out of here. But I'm not opposed to it. Just want to make sure, and because it's Monday too, I don't want to get too early into anything on a Monday, because Mondays can be a little dicey. Sometimes they blow out and you get great momentum and catch a huge rip, but sometimes they're just a little choppy and just a little bit like feeling out. You can see it broke down under this trend line at the moment. So let's see what it looks like on a 4-hour. We'll start from the top with AU. So AU is just kind of like nothing too crazy just yet. But again, it did push up, and now it's kind of like again, when you get a nice push, sometimes you get a little bit back, a little bit correction, a little bit sideways. So maybe we'll see if you get another push. Still in a buying condition, but it's the same as we were saying on EU. Potentially it's failing off of making higher highs. So you can see we're RSI is over the trend line. So we'll see. EU on a 4-hour. Nice. It's a nice 2 candle. It's potentially through this liquid 50, which could potentially show momentum. So we want to stay to the uptrend on this. It's a nice 4-hour candle. On an hour, it's coming down. It's above the trend line. The price action and a trend line on this TDI down here, they're about to meet. So like I said, you're either going to find support and it's going to continue with the trend and it's going to support and move higher, which is what I would like to say first. That's my first option, is to the upside. But if it falls through, then it falls through. But for now, I'd want to stay long biased on it. It's a little funky here on the 15-minute. But again, overall bias is to the upside, so you want to stay with it. You don't want to ignore the divergence. But to the upside is my first move. A little bit of a weak 3 candle here on EA, because you can see it's kind of still overall in a downtrend, but you're above the liquid 50, so it's not the greatest selling TDI at the moment. But it's also not the best buying. It's kind of 50-50. And if I put a top to this, it would look something like this. So this is in an ascending channel. Is it a corrective ascending channel? I don't, and it's going to fall off? I don't know. For now, it looks like it's trying to move higher. And again, if it's choppy, where's the money? Sells here, buys here, sells here, buys as it comes lower. You can make money in the chop. You just have to sell it at the top, buy it at the bottom. That's how else would you make money? Buy it, you know, sell it in here, sell it, buy it, sell it, buy it. You just have to, it's tricky, but you can do it. Holding the EMA, we're above the 50, want to stay long biased. I don't want to call shorts to this. I'd still stay long bias on GJ. Again, nice push on the hour, kind of came down, wick rejection. It's cleared. This is like a breakout, so potentially you could take this to try and come and retest these highs. It's only like, I don't know, 23 pips, 22 pips, something like that, but you want to stay with that. I don't want to call a short on this yet. You can see it's trying to come up to these highs. Came down, double bottom, divergent, found support. Stay with it to the upside. Same with GU. Not as clean, potentially, as GJ. GJ looks like it's potentially has a little bit more. But you can see you're coming back to here from Friday. Kind of Friday's high-ish at this Asia Open. Kind of touched it, broke above it. Came back, now you're coming to it. So definitely I would stay long. Yeah, it looks like it's trying to move up. And GU. This has a strong push down, and now it's kind of like sideways potentially. You can see its trend line's kind of falling. It's under the liquid 50, so this is not that it's not a buying condition, but this, you know what we like to say, above this liquid 50, you get nice, it's easier. You know what I mean? This is an easier buy. This is a tougher buy. Not that it can't buy, but it's a little tougher. Getting a reaction down here. So this is looks a little better of a buying condition on the 1 hour, and that's why I like to use multiple time frames, because I want them to all tell me the same story. When they start telling you the same story, you get more confirmation. You could see down a shit ton of rejection to the upside seems potential. Now, is it just a correction? or is it the overall continuation? As the dollar index looks to fall, potentially you want to get long EU, GU, potentially AU. More so EU, but these dollar pairs will follow. So here you're getting a push. You're in a descending channel here on the 5-minute. So this is the easiest way to see it. Just let it break. Pick a side. You want to stay long, I would say. You could potentially, if this pushes up, gets through this trend line, you know, potentially this could be like a nice 2 candle here. Again, it is divergent, but the trend is to the upside, so just be mindful of these highs right here. Just be mindful of this, you know, see what happens. Ideally, in a perfect world, you'd want to see it break above, retest these highs of support, and then take that next push, because that gives you more confirmation. You might get caught here buying at the highs, even though you want to stay in an uptrend. So just take everything with a grain of salt. I'll be back in 10 seconds. I'm going to grab some water real quick. I forgot to do that. I don't see, honestly, just the way I feel today, like kind of like my emotional state, kind of feels like a no trade day. I don't know if there's anything I love. I feel like it's, and plus with having to go to this doctor, man, this is just annoying. They're just driving me nuts. They're like, oh, come back in. I'm like, why? You guys are killing me, man. Like, I'm trying to trade. I was looking at this early before I got on stream. I almost took a buy on this. I won't lie to you. Would have stopped down here at 90. 80, like it was. I was looking on my MetaTrader 4 on my phone, and I was looking for a stop at 90 when it was like starting to like break up here. You could see like 830-ish. I was considering taking a buy. It was like 0405, I think. It was about a 15 pip stop, and I was looking to take a buy down here at 90. And I was going to try and get it to like move off of this divergence, but I didn't trade it. But it was something I was looking at, about a 15 pip stop. I was looking to go to 30, so I would have had to get up to about here, about 35. So you could see I'd be about, if I took it at like 4 or 5, I'd be like about, you know, what's that, 10, 9 pips, something like that in profit, because I felt like it was like correcting up. But I didn't. I haven't taken a trade off stream, and shit. I think I took one. I think I took one trade off stream, and I lost. Usually every trade I take, I just take it on stream. I kind of like doing that. I like taking it on the stream. You can see here on GU how you're starting to get towards the top of this box, and right back to these highs. So like I said, you know what's going to happen, or what should happen, what consistently happens. You never know anything for a fact, but I find confidence in consistency. If this breaks to the upside, comes back and retests it and shows like a bullish engulfing, then you could take that with the stop like basically right here at the new level of support, and potentially you're continuing the move in the overall uptrend. Because you're still very much in a buying condition. You still like to try and stay to the upside on it. You can see like this could just be, you're above the 50. This could just be down to this EMA, down to this structure hold, and then push all the way up here for like, 50 to 60 pips. That's how I would like to play it. Again, you guys saw me on GJ on Thursday. It was divergent. It wasn't divergent at the time, but it became divergent when it made that higher high, but it was lower. But you saw I took the loss to the upside. I'd rather lose going with the trend than trying to call a top. Once I lost going with the trend and it was confirmed that it was falling away, I just take the short then. But I'm not going to take that initial short. I don't think that's smart. Stay with it. You stay with the trend. You don't want to call a top. You don't want to call a bottom. You want to stay with it until it stops you out. And then if it stops you out, you look for a probable reason to potentially take it the other way. Not just out of anger or out of spite, because this is really pushing now. So this would have been a really nice entry. Not out of revenge trading, but out of using your head. Like, hey, okay, I'm getting stopped out going long. Maybe this thing is falling off. Let me see if I can find a probable consistent entry that I understand is a short entry, and I'll make my money back. And that's how we did it on Thursday. And I had that YouTube video up. If you hadn't saw it yet, check out the YouTube channel how I go through it and explain that if you weren't here in the stream, but I'm sure most of you were here. But that's my lessons that I've learned over years and years of trading. Was that every time I tried to call a bottom or a top, I just lost my ass. So now I just stay with it. I'd rather lose going with the trend. And if I take the buy here and it goes up and it fizzles and then I start to get stopped out, okay, maybe it's wrong. Let me look to see if I can take it short, or if it's just going to move sideways, then I'll leave it alone. And clearly on this day, back here it is. See, like I said, I still have it drawn in. It was moving higher, making a higher high, but it failed, and that's where, bang, I got stopped out. I closed it real quick as I could, waited, and we got short in here and made the money. And look, if I had held that short into Friday, I'd have made a couple grand, And it's still not, it came back to where we took this entry. And you could see even on the 15-minute, broke it, retested, threw a bearish engulfing right here on the 15-minute. It's a little one, but it's a 2 candle, kind of consolidated, engulfing. It's under, it's falling, it's through the trend line. You take it, big money, big money, big money. Just keep it simple. Keep it simple. Getting a really nice push on this pair. Dollar index again. We said it's trying to fall. It's back into this zone, so we want to be mindful, but we like to stay with the trend on these pairs. EA choppy, that's why I'd be avoiding that one. AU looks like it's trying to find a higher low here potentially. It's a little bit choppy here on these AUD pairs. Really nice momentum on these GBPs down here in this bottom. And then again, if you start to see the divergence down in here, take it to a lower time frame. See if you can confirm it. See if you could start finding structure, and you do. You can see you're making higher structure, and then you just take a 1 minute or a 5 minute like you would a 15-minute, an hour. It's fractal. You can take it the same exact way. Look for bullish engulfing right here. Look for comes down, consolidates. Look, it comes up sideways and then throws the little one here. Okay, now I could take that, and I know my stop should be down here. Because why? If it is indeed making a higher structure, it shouldn't come past that level. The next higher low should be at this area where I entered in, and indeed it is. Again, wash, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat. Keep this shit simple, man. Let's make this money. I love it. I'm motivated. I feel good. And that's it. And if you lose, it's controlled. And then but if you keep taking the same shit, keep taking it, you're going to catch this. You're going to make that money. Stay with it. How are we feeling? Like I said, potentially back to the 50, back to this zone. Come on, man. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Oh, I'm so annoyed I have to go to this doctor. I just want to stay on here. So here you go. Really nice. You can see you're above through the trend line. This could potentially be a really, really nice entry. I'm not sure because of the divergence, but again, if you're inclined to stay with the momentum, this could potentially be a nice candle. It's a little shaky for me just because But you see, here's the breakout on the 5-minute. You got what we're looking for. It broke out. So now what are we waiting for? Retest, confirmation, bullish engulfing. So wait for a retest. If it doesn't retest and confirm, don't take it. You don't have to take it on the 15-minute. Get lower here and make sure it's right. If it takes off, it takes off. All right, fine. But if you want to be wise, because the 15 minutes a little shaky, let it pull back and test the trend line. Maybe it goes higher, then comes back. But if it comes back and tests and throws another 2 candle, maybe you get with it. You can see here it's kind of through. Looks like it has potential to move higher here on the 5-minute. Let's see what it does. No reason to take drawdown. No reason to hop in this 15-minute prematurely, you know. Make sure it's correct. How can you do that? You can use the lower time frames to make sure that it's still showing you, you know, continuation uptrending structure. GJ looks really good. Double bottom, just driving. Like I said, at least come to these highs. Why not? Why would it not? We'll extend this level too. Obviously, this was pretty significant. Always 300. See? You're right back to it. Came down, consolidated, broke. Hit it, gave you trouble, couldn't break higher, down. Coming back to it, be mindful. You saw you had the buying potential and you want to stay with it, but if it's failing, maybe it's coming lower. So stay with the long until it doesn't go long anymore. Same thing here, hitting back to the zone. Same thing here, hitting back to these highs. So everything's at critical levels. My bad. I'm always punching this mic. So there's some potentially maybe some quick early money down here. And we'll see how it plays out. This song is fun, thanks G. It's just like this. It's just royalty free background music, just like this. I figure I'd be on for an hour, so I put one on for like an hour. But I just try and find some stuff that's non-controversial and you know, royalty free that I could, you know, upload without anybody, you know, breaking my balls. Pardon my French. How you feeling, G? How was your weekend? Yeah, you can see how you got like this nice little bullish engulfing here, but it's like not through the liquid 50. Now, the only thing that I use this for is just momentum. That's really all I use this for. When it drives through, to me, that shows momentum. That's really how I use it. No other reason. Now see, like I said, you'd be in a little bit of drawdown. You want to use the lower time frame to confirm it, because it's back here. It broke out, great. We're not taking a breakout. What are we taking? Pull back and then confirmation. If you're risky and you want to put it in here and you put the stop here, so you have a really tight stop, well then you're being aggressive. To me, it's wiser just to wait to see it. Excuse me, how it reacts here. If it holds and then throws like a bullish engulfing and clears higher, then okay, great. Let's get in that one. That seems like it has momentum, you know. If it doesn't, it just fizzles back into here. Well, you saved yourself money. So it's like you want to be late. You want to let the market move first, and show its hand. You know, if you were playing poker and you're playing against somebody, there's my doctor thing. If you're playing against somebody in poker and you have, you know, I don't know, like 2 jacks, and you see a queen on the board, and you're afraid this guy might have a queen in his hand, and he shows you his hand and says, you know, I've got like 7 deuce. you're gonna bet the farm, you know what I mean? Like, he's showing his hand first, but that doesn't work in poker. But in the market, it does. The market always shows its hand first. And if you wait for the market to tip its hat and tell you what it's doing, just ride along. You could be late and make a lot of money. And you can see, pin down to it. Now let's see what it does in the next 5 minutes. Does it hold and throw like a bullish engulfing? Maybe you take that. Maybe it's starting to make structure. Maybe it's going to continue even though this divergence. See how it's pinning back? Still got 9 minutes in the candle, so anything can happen. Just wait and react, always. No reason to put money at risk when it's not a guarantee, or at least highly probable. There's never a guarantee in this market. That's it, just highly probable. And like I said, if you can get in on this like 5 minute, I feel like every entry I've taken over the last couple of weeks has been 5 minute entries. And I had a great week last week. I mean, I made like $700. The account's moving in the right direction. So it's awesome, you know. And I the only time I really took a bad L, I didn't take any bad L's, but that GJ, I was just early. I got aggressive because I was feeling really confident. Had I waited, like I said, I would have saw that it didn't reconfirm on the 5 minute to push. It fell right back into the chop, broke to the downside, and that's when I said, okay, let's see it break, retest, and confirm. It confirmed, made the money short. So if you're eager, you get burned. If you wait, you get rewarded. So you can see kind of EA broke out, now it's coming back. See how it holds this level here, and see if it starts to show you more momentum to the upside potentially. You can see price action above this trend line. GJ, like we said, hitting back to this level. Same with GU. It's a really strong push, so you know, like we said, after big pushes like that, sometimes you see a little correction, sometimes you see a little sideways momentum because it's a big push, you know. So you gotta let it kind of fizzle and then see if you get another igniting candle on a lower time frame, you know. See if you're starting to make a trend. See, EU is still, it goes up, and then does it go like a little correct and then push, or does it just fall back into here and continue chopping? Yeah. Let's say you're something like this on the 1 minute. I would say it's something like that. So you're contained in this level on the 1 minute. Now again, there's the 1 minute, but you'd want to see it break up out and through, you know. Dollar index, like we said, is back into this area. And again, you know, my boxes are just, I always do that. It is full screen. My boxes are just rough estimates, but it's pretty consistent in how they hit. So just recognize where you are. This is in a selling condition. This TDI is still kind of like a reset, kind of in this like choppy, but this is a nice push. Looks like it fell through, so it has momentum. So there's definitely still potential for this DXY to come lower, and as the DXY does come lower, you're going to want to stay with EU to the upside because they're really inversely correlated. You're starting to get here on the 5 minute. You can see it kind of broke. It's kind of iffy. It's kind of like not the best. I like to see it engulfed. It could start to drive it. You can see how you're kind of like holding on it. pretty decent on the 1 minute. Kind of came down right here. See how you're holding, it's cradling this trend line. You're above the liquid 50. Could potentially see it come up. See how it wicked back. We want to stay with it. Take a peek maybe on a 30-minute. Give it 5 more minutes and see how this 30-minute candle closes. Looks like it's strong. Looks like it's still trying to go higher. Yeah, this looks good. Again, it's a little bit divergent, but it's trying to come higher, so it's not as divergent here on the 30-minute. And you can see you're getting a really nice push. See how it closes in 3-4 minutes? See if this closes above. You can see. Try and use all your time frames. Try and make a really good story. Okay, we're above this 50. We're holding this EMA. We're trying to go bullish engulfing. We're above the 50. We're driving. I think you want to try and find a buy on EU. It's my opinion. It could be a little iffy, but again, if I'm taking a position, I'd rather take it to the upside. Wasn't the greatest on the 5-minute, but it could push in the next 5. That's why I say, okay, well, let's look to the 30 then. Looks like it could be strong. Could be breaking through this liquid 50. Could be like a nice strong push. Take a stop down here potentially if you wanted to for like 12-ish, 13 pips. If you're more inclined to take a lower time frame entry, make sure you use structure. This could be like a disconnected 3 candle, like a 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure. I'm not in love with it. But this isn't too bad on the 30-minute. Looks like it's really trying to move. And we're just trying to trust what the market's saying. Look, it's through here on the 5-minute on the DXY. It's falling nicely. This could be a really nice 30-minute close as well on the DXY short. So I think if I'm inclined to trade something, I like EU to the upside. See? Broke. Retest. Now it's starting to push. You would want to take the stop down here at like 30. Be below this area. Yeah, nice. It's taken off. I don't feel it's a miss yet. I don't think so. Here it is again. Look, see? Same thing. Broke the box, retest the box. Now in G, you're starting to get the, it's always the same. Break, retest, confirm. Because it's structure. You just follow price action. So it looks like the dollar index is indeed starting to find its continuation. Really nice. This is why I say don't call the short yet. Stay with it. Right up to this trend. Well, this trend line isn't the greatest trend line, so I don't know that I would trust this. I kind of just threw it in. The trend line would be more like this. If you're going to draw it like here, maybe. Don't connect in highs. Something like this. So be mindful that it could just hit this trend line. It is still a little bit divergent, but again, if we're staying with a direction, I think long is the direction you want to trade. EA, look at that nasty pin back. Nasty. Pushed up, came right back. Now it's still staying with that upward momentum for now on EA. Yeah, EU's a little bit too dicey for me. It looks good. Like I said, this wasn't the best little 3 candle, but up and now through. Break it for new highs. You're clearly through. If you're going to take it, I'd take it with a stop down here at 30. So it's like a 12 pip stop, something like that. You'd want to go for 24. It's clearly got it in ADR. Why not? If you feel like that's something you want to take, if you feel like it's got the momentum, like I said, a stop at 30 seems pretty decent. Proper risk management. I'd just be mindful of this trend line because it could just hit this trend line and fizzle, but it looks solid. It looks solid. I think I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be probable. About to short UCAD, yeah, that would be in the opposite of EU. I mean, that makes sense. These are sensible entries, you know. Well, EU looks like would have been a really nice entry. If you got it, I wish you luck, and I'll check back in with you guys on Instagram. I think that's probably the best thing we had going right now. I got a jet, unfortunately. Sorry that I was so short. Tomorrow, full stream. We're gonna rock it out tomorrow. I'll be back at 8:30 in the morning, and you know, hit me up on my IG. Let me know if you guys, you know, got in on anything today, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. Thanks for being on for the short stream. I'll be back around. All right, later, guys. Have a great day.